Hey guys, so today is day 27 of Road to Grandmaster. So today is the first day of March. Alright, it's 1st of March. So in February, we learned about this move. So it's Secret of Chess Training, and the topic we learned is analysis of the Gen position. So basically, the inside there, it's many practical endgame. So now it's March, so I will train with this book. This is actually an ebook, right? Doretsky Endgame Manual, right? In March. So this book, more or less inside here, it's theory, right? It's theory. It's like theory. It's not about practical endgame. It's not about like the endgame and happen in a real game. It's just theory. So actually, theory is very important in chess. Um, yeah, because many times it's hard to win a game without theory. Yeah, of course you can win it in a middle game like that with no theory, but if you go to some specific endgame, theory is very important. So, for instance, let's say you get rook versus bishop. You have to know the theory. If you don't know, then you can't you might lose the game if you're the one who have bishop. Or let's say you have bishop and knight, then you don't know how to checkmate. It's also a very sad thing. So you have to know them, right? It's very important. So the topic I learned today is bishop versus knight. So, and the topic here is actually bishop and pawn versus knight. So day later, I'll learn bishop versus knight and pawn. So today I'll learn about bishop and pawn versus knight. Alright, so let's start. Okay, so okay, so the outcome in all endgames of this depends wholly on whether the stronger side can place his opponent in zugzwang. Right? So in this case, let's see. So bishop b3, check. So as you can see, white is up a pawn, a passer, but white knight is defending there. Right? You can't take this free knight because they take your pawn and it's a draw. So let's see how the white win here with zugzwang. White force opponent in zugzwang. Okay, so okay. By the way, this book, The Secret of Chess Training, is about like practical endgame. So this book is more or less theory, and they focus on like skill and technique, right? Like how to get force opponent in the situation of zugzwang. So that okay, this is the first day of first day I learned this book. So let's see, bishop b3 check, king c5. Well, if king e5 and you go bishop e6 and it's a zugzwang, you can't move the king. If you move the knight, then d7. So you can't move the knight. If you move the king, then we take the free knight. So you have to play king c5. And now we go bishop a2, waiting move. King c6. If you play knight g4, it's a good try to tricks your opponent. If your opponent play d7, then knight e5 attack the pawn. d8 queen, then knight c6 check. Alright, so it's a nice scramble. So if knight g4, the move here is king e6, and then okay, white win. So king c6. We go king e6, good move. Knight h7. If king c5, now we go bishop b1 or bishop d5. Alright, and then white's winning. So knight h7, the idea is to go knight f8, I guess. We go bishop d5 check, king c5, and go king e7. Knight f6. Now knight f8 doesn't work because of bishop e4, and the knight is trapped, and the king is also trapped. The king have to move somewhere, and then we take the knight. If the knight move, we take the knight. So it, okay, white win. So knight f6 has to be played, and okay, bishop f3. So control the knight. Check. We have to defend the pawn. King e6, knight f6, bishop e4. Good move. And we reach the decisive zugzwang. So you can't move the knight because of d7. You can't move this king because when you move your king, you lift the tension. You lift the threats to take this pawn, so we can take your free knight. And you can't even move your knight because of the d7 and queen next move. And white's winning. Alright, let's put the king on e5 now. In this position, let's put the king on e5. Okay, just give me a second. Okay. Let's see this example. Now the variations are different, but the evaluation of the position doesn't change because the goal of white's manuals is the same. Zugzwang. Bishop b3, king f5, bishop f7, king g5. If king e5 is the same thing as we say just now, bishop b6 win the game. So king g5. Now we go bishop b6 still, king g6, king f8, good move. Knight h7. If you go king h6 and king f7, you have to defend, and okay, we just play a waiting move. You can't move the knight because of d7. You can't move the king because your knight is hanging. So it's a zugzwang. So check with knight h7. Now we go king e8. Good move. Knight f6, king e7. So in order to give black pieces, give black to move, white has triangulate with his king like this. King f8, king e8, and king e7. Now it's black to move. Alright, so this is like some sort of basic tricks you have to know. Triangulation. It's called triangulation. So king g7 have to be played here to defend the knight. Now I go bishop f7. And basically it's almost zugzwang, but luckily black has this tricks with knight g4. Good move. Again d7. We have knight e5, attack the pawn. So I'll just show it on the board. d7, knight e5, d8, queen knight c6, and it's draw. So this is like some little cool tricks. However, we can simply play bishop d5 here, which is a winning move. And knight e5. Let's say you play knight f6 here. Okay, bishop e4. Again, it's almost zugzwang, so you have to play knight. Okay, you can't take because d7, so you have to go here. And okay, bishop f5, again zugzwang. You move the knight, we push. You move the king, we take the knight. Right. Because there's no way for the king to keep the protection of the knight. And there's no way for the knight to keep protection on d7 or even d8. So okay, knight e5 has to be played. Instead of knight f6, we go bishop e4. And basically, again, you can't move the knight. You have to move the king, king g8. Now we go king e6. Knight here, and d7, king f8, bishop d5, king d6, and okay, king e7, and white win. The knight is trapped. Every square is covered by white's bishop. This knight is simply trapped. The king moved, and we take the knight, and it's completely winning. So whites win the game. So let's look at next example. just give me some seconds. Okay, so the basically the rule is, okay, so first of all, even if the king is on c7, wait, just let me, so in this case, even if the king is on c7 here, it's not hard to see that black can draw this, and not just with his knight on f6, but also on e5, f6, not just on f6, but e5 or f8. Which brings us to the conclusion. For a successful defense, it's important to keep the knight far away from the enemy king. But even for the knight placed close to the enemy king, Zugzwang is not at all a sure thing. Let's return once again to the first example. So this is the second example. Is it this one? Okay, so this is the first example. We go check here, and instead of the move we saw just now, which is bishop a2, a waiting move, let's say white choose king e6 here, and now it's actually a mistake. King e6 actually a mistake. So knight h7, king e7, and now knight f8 is possible. So let's do this. Just now the knight can never go went here. So now, okay, when the knight goes here, it's still tricky, but it's actually a draw if blacks play perfectly, right? Because he controls the square. So let's see. Let's say we play bishop c2. White cannot allow the knight check on g6, so bishop c2, king c6, king d5 is also possible. We go bishop a4 check. With the bishop on the b1 to h7 diagonal, for instance, bishop b1, the king will shuttle between c6 and d5. This two square. For example, bishop b1, king d5, good move. Bishop d3, and now king c6 is very good move. It's a very important move. You can't go to c5 because of bishop e4 takes control of the king. The king have to move, then we take the knight. The knight have no move, and white win. So you have to play the move king c6 here. Even you play king e5 here, again bishop e4. Again, your king have to move. We take the knight have no move. If the king takes, we take the knight and push the password, and we win. So king c6 is a very important move. If bishop e4 check, now you king c5, and now it's white to move. So whites have to move this bishop, and you move the king back to c6. The idea is we're trying to keep following this pawn on d6. We want to keep attacking the pawn, keep threatens the pawn. Otherwise the knight on f8 is hanging. So we have to keep attacking, keep an eye on this pawn. When they take our knight, then we take the pawn. It's a draw. So we cannot allow a Zugzwang like this. If let's say it's black to move here, then we can no longer attack the pawn. So king c6, very important move. Bishop e4, king c5, and now okay, it's actually a draw. So let's see king c6. Just now we saw bishop e1. Now let's see if bishop a4 check, king c5, bishop e8, king d5, bishop f7, king c6, good move. Bishop h5, king c5, good move. Now king d5 is actually different because we can give this check, king c5, and white got this waiting move. Oh, by the way, just now after bishop b1, okay, here king c6 is an important move. because king c6, bishop b4 check, king c5, and let's say white don't want the king to keep attacking this pawn and move the bishop, but then we have knight g6 check. So e4 is the key square to control opponent's king and control opponent knight. And if black to move here is zugzwang. Alright, that's the point. So we want in this position it's white to move. So if you move this bishop on this diagonal, we go king c6 or king d5. If you move on this diagonal, we go check. We have this intermediate check. And if the king move, okay, knight go back to f8. So okay, let's see the bishop a4 here, here, bishop h5, and now king c5 is a good move. It's an important move because king d5, like I say, in this case, white can give bishop f3 checks. Now this a cool trick, and then bishop e4, and now again it's black to play. So zugzwang, white win. King e5 is totally same thing, bishop e4. So king c5 is an important move here, and it's a draw because bishop move to f3, we get this check. Like I say, the bishop move to, for instance, bishop f7, we go king c6. So it's a draw here. All right. So yeah, basically this is the 3 position I learned today. So now you can see like how important of theory, right? Because you can easily mess up. You can easily mess up like this position. The key move is bishop a2 here, waiting move. King e6 actually draw. Let blacks escape with knight h7 and knight f8. So theory is very important. So that's what I'm gonna learn in this March. Alright, so basically yeah, that's all for today. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something, of course. And keep following my road to Grandmaster. So yeah, just take care and bye.